This time, we're taking a look at the second book in this four-part series that's designed to help answer some of those big questions we all ask ourselves. This one's called Reflect and Redirect, Your Guide to Career Options. So remember that first book, the one that helps you really figure out what makes you tick, like what you value, what you're good at. Well, this book takes that a step further. It's like, okay, you know yourself now, but how do you take that inner knowledge and apply it to, well, all the career possibilities out there?
It really is perfect timing. You know, a lot of people feel like they're in the wrong job or even like the wrong industry entirely. This book acts as a sort of guide. It helps you figure that out.
Yeah, and I love how it starts by digging into why we might be unhappy in the first place. Like those terms that use anchor problems, gravity problems, those really jumped out at me.
Right. I mean, what a way to visualize those things that hold you back. So the anchor problems are more internal, like feeling stagnant or undervalued, kind of that stuck in the mud feeling.
So it's more your perception of the situation, not necessarily external factors. Okay, so what about these gravity problems then?
Well, think of those like a force pulling you down, no matter how hard you try to find it. Like a toxic company culture or, big industry shifts, things that are often outside your control.
So it seems like before we even think about dream jobs, we need to figure out the root of the problem. Like, are we dealing with an anchor that we can raise ourselves? Or is it more of a gravity problem that needs, a totally different solution? But how does the book go beyond just like basic introspection?
The real key here is that by analyzing what you disliked, you uncover those hidden deal breakers. Things that you might not even realize you absolutely cannot stand in a work environment.
Let's say you've done all this self-reflection and figured out your career superpower, so to speak. But the job market can feel so overwhelming. How do you even begin to navigate all those options out there?
That's where this idea of knowing your target audience comes in. Who do you want to work for? That's something the book really emphasizes. It sounds simple, that so many people just jump into the job hunt without thinking about what kind of company or organization would actually be a good fit.
Yeah, it's like you're shooting in the dark, if you don't know what you're aiming at.
Exactly. I mean, you're just wasting time and energy applying for jobs that are never going to align with your values or your goals.
So it sounds like instead of just browsing job boards, we should be, researching companies, figuring out which ones actually resonate with our values and the problems we want to solve.
Think of it as like targeting your job search. Who are the companies solving problems that you actually find interesting? Who aligns with your values?
And that's where networking comes in, right? Talking to people who actually work at those companies to get their insights and perspective.
The book also talks about this concept of the hidden job market. So did you know that a huge number of job openings are never actually publicly advertised? Yeah, they're often filled through, networking, referrals, and direct contact with employers.
So you have to be in the know to even hear about these jobs.
But that's exactly why Reflect and Redirect stresses the importance of expanding your network and actively engaging with people in your field, because you just never know what might come up in a casual conversation.
But before we move on, I want to touch on something else the book talks about. When I first heard about AI and career stuff, I was a little freaked out. So how exactly can AI help with all this?
Well, in a lot of ways, actually, AI can process huge amounts of data and connect things in a way that we as humans just can't. And the book also highlights how AI can help you develop skills. There are platforms that use AI to create custom learning plans.
So we've covered a lot in this episode. Anything else you want to highlight before we move on?
With all this talk about strategy and tools, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Career redesign is ultimately about finding alignment between who you are, what you value, and the work that you do.
You're so right. It's not just about finding a job, it's about finding a career that feels authentically you.
But you're not aligned with your career path. Well, it's just not going to work long term. It's about knowing yourself so well.
Yeah.
But you can make choices that really resonate with who you are.
So it's not about finding that one perfect job and sticking with it forever. It's more about recognizing that we're constantly evolving and our careers need to evolve with us. So we've covered the second book, Reflect and Redirect. But don't forget, there are 2 more books in this series. But for now, keep reflecting, keep redirecting, and keep creating a career and a life that you truly love.